Hey guys, so here's a quick video of the work I've been doing on the bus here, hooking up the batteries. I've got the DC side pretty much done. So inline fuse here, and maybe I'll start up here. Here's my selector switch, which will allow me to go from either the bus batteries or the house batteries, or combine them. And then I've got a 6001 inverter here running through a shunt, the Victron 712, and this is just going to be my negative or ground bar that I can tie in. My charge controllers, solar charge controllers, is not hooked up, just there for spacing. It'll all be able to hook up to one of these lugs. And yeah, so all the wires are 3/0 NMD90 stranded. I don't even know if they make such a thing as a solid, but anyway, I've got my taps for calculating mid-range voltage on the Victron battery management system, BMS, or battery monitor I should say. So power comes in off two sides, goes out to the inverter. Both sides, one is actually, this is from the bus, which runs through 500 amp inverter, 500 amp fuse, and then the battery side runs down and across, and also through a 500 amp fuse. Which this fuse is only $15, and I got to put a clear cover that's over there. Those covers go on the fuses. But the alternators are able to produce, I think, 430 amps. I'm going to have to meter this when I turn on the bus on, and I have a dead battery bank here, see what kind of current I'm pulling out, because this 3/0 aluminum or copper may not be enough. I think it's good for like 350. So anyway, we'll see what kind of current we're going to pull. So this wire goes down through, there's a box that was right here that had the fire extinguisher and belts underneath. Actually, it's right there. That'll come back in. It actually fits in here, comes across the front. I had to notch out a bit. So this is where wires ran across to the left side, AC, condenser and evaporators. So I took the grommet, rubber grommet there, and I put it here, and so this comes across, and actually, yeah, I'll show you. So there's actually a 3-stage Vanner battery charger, and then on top of that there's an equalizer, which, as I understand it, well, I'll just show this. So this is your disconnect. This is a 12 volt, this is 24 volt. So there's basically two disconnects, which are mechanically interlocked. And we've got a 24 volt bus and a 12 volt bus. And 1, 2, 3 of those I disconnected. That went to the left side, condenser and evaporators, or evaporators and condenser. They were 250s and a 70 amp circuit breaker. So those are disconnected and removed. This is the new wire that comes in, the 3/0, and I've paired it here. This is this wire, I don't know if you can see, heavy gauge wire. That's this back one actually runs back to the alternator, so that's where all the current's coming in. 430 amps will be coming in, and then it'll go out to, this goes across to the battery here. Interesting how that battery balancer seems to work. We've got 3 taps. First our series, and then our 24 volt last. The 24 volt side seems to pull from here, from these 2 batteries, and which normally would pull this battery down, leave this one high, but they also go to this equalizer. So we've got 24, 12, and a ground negative. This is about $1,000 equalizer. You can still buy it today. It's rated for 100 amps, and I haven't really read up much on it, but it would appear that it pulls current, and it would also pull current from the 24 to dump back into the 12 to balance. So you're pulling 24 volt loads off here. You actually need to induce a load here so that they equally go up and down and charge. So that equalizer seems to be doing that. So I'm not going to take advantage of it right now. I don't know if I'm doing much for 12 or 24 on the bus. Maybe lighting like Ivan did. But yeah, so anyway, everything's in this 3/4 inch grommet stuff, and I've got a board which will slide. It slides over here, and there's little vent holes for these AGM batteries, and so I have to be careful not to cover any of them up. But yeah, I think the batteries are pretty well protected. This is going to be underneath. Yeah, be covered with plywood, so I'm about to cover this up. I did have a 500 amp fuse here where the two banks come together. This is where it goes from 24 or 12 to 24. But that was I think redundant, so I moved it over here instead. Not sitting, it's just loose, but these wires are actually quite rigid. So see if I can show. Yeah, this is actually the wire that I used. So yeah. All right, bye for now. Well, just a quick update. This is the battery box covered up, and yeah, I've got a temporary, well, I don't know if that's temporary or not, I haven't decided yet, but I got some 120 hooked up. That will probably, I'm going to put a panel up here and probably move that up so that we can have the rest of the charge controllers going across. Turn the power on. This LED light does some, yeah, I guess it looks alright. There's some weird things with the video sometimes, but yeah, it's sweet to have this hooked up. Okay, so here's the other side of the battery bank, that last of the 3 bays. Got tanks in the middle, and the front is going to be something else. And yeah, so we have AC over here with a mini split. You can see it here, sitting in there. It's going to pull stuff from the ground, air from the ground, and push it out the front, which is in inverse of the factory, at least the factory bus configuration. But so this is going to be where my diesel generator sits. We're going to have to soundproof the wall and frame up wall here. But basically the liquid water cooled generator will pull air from here and actually push it down through the floor. So it'll get fresh air from the AC bay. That's why I put them together. And yeah, so I am using the automatic transfer switch that's built into this inverter. And so basically the inverter is plugged in right now to the shore power, but that'll be plugged into a generator. And this charge inverter also has a generator start function, which also my Victron battery monitor has a couple relays in it that you can start the generator as well. I like the Victron because it's more configurable for the voltage that I and the triggers for starting the generator and how long you run it, and minimum run times and stuff. So we'll just unplug that, and I'll have an extension cord if we're plugged into shore power, which I don't think will be that often. But, yeah, 6,000 watt inverter. This mini split's a 2-ton mini split, and it pulls about 4,000. I've seen it over 4,000 watts, 43 or 4,400 watts on high. So I needed to have have a larger one. I had bought a 4,000 watt, and I haven't plugged it in yet, but I don't think it would be enough. I also have a 3,000 watt. That's definitely couldn't run it. Yeah. So I've got 37 batteries in here. I think they're 100 amp hours each. AGM recycled batteries, and I have an extra one over here which is not connected, so it's actually 36. 2 banks of 36 of 13, and this extra battery, which is in this corner, will be for the starter battery. So yeah, that's update for now. And there's still a little bit of snow on the ground, and yeah, some junk. And this is our other trailer, which I gotta sell. All right, bye for now, guys.